very welcome back to the show. Now, with the growing TikTok trends of teens using anti-aging products, Sherna Malone, skin expert, is here to share her tips on healthy teen skin and how to build the perfect routine without anti-aging products or any of those really expensive stuff. You don't need them either, says Sherna Malone. Sherna, I'm so happy to have you here, especially discussing this because it is all over social. It is. I know myself, like I have relatives and friends, and their kids are going out and they want, like 13, 14-year-old girls especially, want these really expensive products that cost like over 100 quid. And they want them because their friends have them.
Their friends have them and they're seeing those that they follow on social media with them. But, you know, do they need them? Absolutely not. And, you know, at this stage more, the focus should be on maintaining a healthy, you know, skin, a balanced skin. We don't need anti-aging, you know, ingredients or products. And while obviously for adults, yes, they're fantastic. Very often when they're using these products with some of these, as I said, active ingredients, these quite strong ingredients in them, it leads to issues. So we get breakouts, we get irritation, dermatitis in some cases. So the thing is simplicity, less is more, and they definitely don't need them.
Because a lot of these ingredients, Sherna, contain retinols, which are almost like a peel, isn't that right? Just explain, for parents listening, what should you look out for to not use on the back of the bottle?
Well, I suppose exfoliating acids would be one, and as you said, your retinoids, because there's a way to incorporate these into a routine. There's a way to use them, and very often, you know, they'll just go hell for leather. They'll be putting all the, you know, creams and lotions and potions on their skin, and before they know it, they have a big red face with irritation, breakouts, etc. So, you know, again, skincare is very nuanced. So, you know, if they're experiencing certain skin conditions, they might need one or two things. But again, that would be advised from, you know, a skin specialist.
Okay. Now, we had a lot of people getting in touch about this. This is one woman, and she sent us this audio message in relation to her daughter.
Okay.
Hi there, Mairead from Offaly here. I'd like to ask Sherna about my daughter's skin. She's just turned 13 and is asking about skincare and what to do. Any advice at all would be great. Her skin is fairly clear, no breakouts. Many thanks, and it's great to see you all back again.
Thanks very much for that. And we're glad to be back, and we're glad to help as well. So Sherna, she is just starting out on this kind of skincare journey.
And do you know what? And even this is a 13-year-old, but this would also apply to, I call them tweens, you know, your pre-teens. And like I said, simplicity is key. So you're really looking at, you know, 3 products, the pillars, you know, that form the foundation of a good skincare routine. Cleansing, really important. But when we cleanse, you know, at this age, we want it to be, you know, very gentle, you know, non-stripping, skin shouldn't feel tight or dry, so very gentle cleansing.
So something like this.
Yeah, exactly. And when they're cleansing, they can cleanse in the shower. If they're having their shower in the morning, make use of that time. Bring the cleanser in, you know, to the shower, but just don't have, obviously, scalding water. Should
you use, because this one's CeraVe now, this is a very affordable brand, but has great ingredients in it. And should you wash a cleanser off? Should you also use a wet, like a towel?
You can rinse off in the shower once the water isn't too hot, but you can also use face cloths. But gentle face cloths, and they just happen to be really lovely. There's a, you know, great quality with those particular ones. They're lovely and soft. So our cleansing is going to get rid of the dirt, the impurities, okay? And then moisturizer.
Something like this.
Yeah, and it's quite a common, you know, misconception that oily skin doesn't need moisturizer, but it actually does. And we need to keep our skin hydrated and nourished.
What should we be looking for? These ingredients like this. Well, when the mothers read the back?
Well, basically, teenagers tend to prefer lighter formulation, so water-based moisturizers.
Like
you know, gel-based ones, light textured. They don't need anything that's rich in oils or lipids. Okay.
Could they use something like a Silcox base, just an emollient?
Yeah, they could, but generally speaking, again, sometimes these can be pore clogging.
Yeah, they're a bit thick.
Yeah, and they don't necessarily want, you know, that feel. And with that age group, you know, texture is very important. Light, you know, light textures, light formulas, but moisturising is important, without a doubt.
When we talk about ingredients and efficacy, what about something like niacinamide, which is kind of a buzzword, or hyaluronic acid? Would that be suitable for teen skin?
Absolutely. Vitamin B3 omega-3, your niacinamide is excellent.
So that would be in these cleansers and some of the rest.
And sometimes it's even in the cleansers, the moisturisers, and indeed actually in the sun protection in this particular one.
Which brings us to the next pillar, as you say, Sherna.
Yeah, it is so important. And I suppose when you're young, you're not really thinking about skin in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s. But, using your daily sunscreen, you're future-proofing your skin. You're
Something
helping
like
your
these.
skin, again, for the future. And it's really adopting those daily habits that are going to, as I said, protect your skin. And sunscreen is just, it's like brushing your teeth, Maura. We've spoken about this before. Just get your children into the habit of doing it. And again, light textures, oil-free, non-pore clogging. Because once you find a sunscreen and the texture that you like, you're basically, you stick with it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Could you use a sunscreen, something like this, a moisturiser with a sunscreen in it? Would that be enough for a little kid?
Yeah, and an awful lot of the time I would recommend that, okay? Because again, sometimes you just want to cut down on the steps. So your morning routine could comprise of your cleanse and your sunscreen, and your evening routine, your cleanse and your moisturiser.
Very good, okay.
And that's for normal skin.
When you talk about skin damage, is there, God, we hardly had any sun protection, no sun protection, nothing.
Nothing, the baby oil.
It's true. Can skin damage in your teens, can that actually go forward and cause damage in the future?
It absolutely can. And I see this sometimes with the, diagnostic, the skin scanner, and you see the UV damage, but it's the UV damage, it's the cumulative effect of that damage from, as I said, a very young age. So, mind your skin, protect your skin. You've only one skin. And, the cleansing, the moisturising, the sunscreen, that's part and parcel of every routine. And for some teenagers, they won't issue or experience any issues with their skin, but sometimes they do.
Okay.
And this is where, again, there's certain ingredients and products that can help if they're experiencing breakouts.
All right, let's talk about that then.
So, it is normal. And what can we do to help when those little, blemishes or breakouts occur? Hypochlorous acid is really beneficial.
Okay.
It's an anti-inflammatory, so it helps to calm down that inflammation, the redness. But it's helping the spot in the here and now, but it's also, preventing future breakouts because it's antimicrobial. So fantastic if you're looking to try and introduce hypochlorous acid. This is a spray. It comes in a liquid
this one
form
here,
as
is
well.
it?
The boys like this because it's easy. They just have to go spritz after cleansing. And literally, it just absorbs into the skin.
So it's just a little spray, so you could just do that in the morning.
And for children, if they're big into their sports, and sometimes they can, perspire, again, reduce that microbial load, spritz onto their face after they've, maybe played a game or they've been in the gym, and it'll just protect skin. Niacinamide you mentioned, fantastic. It might be that you need to introduce a little serum. And niacinamide, again, it's an anti-inflammatory. It's going to help reduce redness. It's going to reduce the oil.
And would that be in something like, is this the ordinary or not the ordinary?
So it is. And that's,
Inky, this is the Inky,
Oh,
and
sorry,
these are not
Inky.
expensive products. So you can get efficacy in a product that's not too expensive as well.
Absolutely, of course you can. And again, lovely and light and will really help to reduce that blemish. And then salicylic acid. Now, salicylic acid is an active ingredient, but when used correctly, again, it can help because it's oil soluble. So it can take a little deep dive into the pore, unclog it, and help again with those blemishes. And as a cleanser, you could use it once, twice a week. We don't want to overdo it because we don't want to dry out skin, but it's great to use as a little micro mask, Maura.
That sounds really good.
Yeah.
So also as well, say for parents watching, you can just, for example, a lot of teens would have a T-zone oiling. So could you use a little bit of salicylic acid there and your regular moisturiser somewhere else?
Absolutely. And again, these are all great if you're experiencing, as I said, occasional breakouts. But if those breakouts become persistent, that's when we really need to, as I said, step things up a little bit. Because any skin condition that starts to impact the self-esteem of a teenager, we have to work on, okay? And in that instance, I always advise go to your GP and seek, further treatment if those breakouts and blemishes are becoming quite cystic and leaving scarring and post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation.
That's actually very true. So as Sherna said, go to a skin specialist or a GP because you could have maybe acne, and that might need extra treatment.
Absolutely, absolutely.
But for the basics, we're covered here, and we don't need a million bottles
No,
in
we
our
definitely
bathroom.
don't. Simplicity, don't overload the skin, and keep things clean, Maura. Makeup brushes, the blenders, things that teenagers use.
And the phone.
The phone.
Yes.
Would you believe there's more bacteria on your phone than the toilet seat. There you go.
God. So
There's
that's
a
and the
Friday
kids are always
fact.
on the phone. And also there was a quick tip just before you go with when it comes to shampoo for anti-dandruff.
Oh, I see this an awful lot. Well, there is shampoo, you know, the anti-dandruff shampoo that some people use, but fragrance-free shampoo is very important. I see an awful lot of young boys and girls that just get the breakouts on the forehead.
Yeah.
Very often it's the shampoo or the gels or the waxes or whatever they're
So
throwing
pair
into
that
their-
back to?
Pair that back to a fragrance-free shampoo and you'd be surprised how quickly sometimes the spots on the forehead can improve.
Yeah, it's just basic advice, but wonderful advice as well. And these are the ingredients are just basic ingredients that will work. Shirna, thank you so much. Great
Not
to have
at
you with
all.
us. And of course, you can pop on to our socials if you want to look back on this as well at RTE Today. And Shirna is always with us on the show for her regular skincare tips. Now, though, hey.